and welcome to Soul in Balance. My name's Alesha and I'll be bringing you a report on the new moon in Sagittarius that'll be happening on the 7th of December at 6:20 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Now this new moon is bringing up many feelings of optimism, moving forward, excitement, but it's also bringing up, old depressing feelings of, past trauma, feelings of old stuck, scenarios that we're needing to clear at this time, because we are ending old cycles and then we are also facing blocks moving forward with our desires. So it is a bit of a mixed bag. And some people are feeling very directionless. Even if you have a direction, it's like we've been in the fog and we don't know where we're going or how we're feeling. So it is a very interesting time. So stay tuned and I'll bring you the report. Okay, new moon in Sagittarius. Alrighty, so I think everyone's been saying how lucky, how optimistic this full moon is, but I don't think I'm going to be saying the same, as there is a lot of work to be done at this new moon and moving forward up until next year. So I do believe there is a lot of optimism and a lot of luck out there, especially with Jupiter in Sagittarius and the Sun being in Sagittarius, but also there is a lot of old clearing and letting go of old cycles and really asking ourselves the question, what is my truth and what do I really want? Not just our old desires from our old framework, from our old survival mechanisms. We're really needing to move forward and have our desires in the future and where we're going from our highest perspective, not from our survival brain, our monkey brain that's just like, yeah, I need this to be happy and I need this to make me feel fulfilled and I need this to fill my void. And we kind of can't be doing that and going along those lines anymore. So if you're having blocks and things aren't working out for you and you aren't getting all this luck that everyone's raging about right now, it is because maybe it's an old desire, maybe it's something that isn't serving you and you need to transform into something better, or maybe it's something you need to wait and process and learn more and then move forward into that direction. So it is a bit of a crazy time at the moment. We are releasing a lot of old cycles right now. It's very normal right now to be feeling sad. Like, even though we've got all these great ideas and we want to move forward, we've all kind of been stumped with, oh my God, what are these feelings of depression coming up? I've been so optimistic. And you know what I mean? That's just part of the journey, and it's part of letting go of those old cycles, and they're really being triggered right now, and we really need to be letting go of that. As Jupiter and Sagittarius is all about expansion and getting what we want, it can be a time of where we have to be releasing first, and this is probably the biggest priority of right now. We are having, old emotions and old feelings resurfacing, ready to be healed. And, there's no point, thinking, oh, I'll just be positive. I'm just going to push those feelings down. No, we can't be doing that. We really need to be restructuring ourselves and, making our body and our energy and all our cells in our body at a higher frequency so we can attract, what we're needing. But while we've got all these old stuck emotions that have been storing in the body, they need to be released first. So like I just said, I do believe that it's really important that we first clear the old, because the old doesn't exist anymore. The old is fading away and disappearing. So if you've noticed, the old way that you used to survive and the old way you used to cope, that doesn't work anymore. It's not making you happy anymore. It's not fixing anything anymore, because it's all kind of leading to that we need to evolve, we need to change. We really need to be asking ourselves the question, what do I need to change? What do I need to let go of? And we've had Mercury retrograde that's in Scorpio that'll be stationing direct. And that's been making us go over how we've been processing our emotions, how we handle situations. And, that's about bringing that knowledge and all our realizations into the future and changing our conscious behavior. Like it's understanding understandable that we have all these subconscious programming, but since we've had this Mercury retrograde and even Venus retrograde, we've had a realization of our old programming and our old subconscious beliefs and how we've been handling things, and it's really been, you know, thrown in our faces how they don't work and how we need to change. So at this new moon, we have the moon, the sun, and Jupiter all in Sagittarius. So what is Sagittarius? Sagittarius is knowledge. It's our higher truth. It's wisdom. It's our consciousness. It's right brain. It's travel. It's aiming into the distance. So with Sagittarius, we need to be looking at the polarity point, which is Gemini, which is connections, which is learning and our communities. So how can we be in our truth and be in our higher wisdom so we can connect and so we can, you know, create a global connection with others so we can move forward and all be in our truth. So at this time, it's really important that we set an example of being in our truth to help others. It's also really important to be in our truth for ourselves and our own soul journey, but to show the collective and show other people that living in your truth or living in our truth is how we really need to be right now. So if we can, you know, honor that and then go into communities and connect to other people in our truth, we really are creating connections that are more of value, and then that spreads across, and that, you know, that's what we need to help make this planet and our societies and our communities better. So if we're all honoring who we truly are and from a higher perspective as well. So also at this new moon, it's making aspects out to, which is a square out to Mars and Neptune in Pisces. So that has been the fog and the escapism that's kind of been running a little bit rampant the last week or so. So anything is escapism that is kind of used as an addiction or a way to kind of avoid what's going on. So that could be food, that could be shopping, that could be alcohol, that could be drugs, that could be sex, that could be having multiple partners, anything to stop you from focusing on what's really going on. You know, people don't like to have awkward conversations. People don't like to face how they're really feeling or see other people, you know, accepting how they feel. It's really uncomfortable for some people. It's, you know, people just want to push all that down. We don't want to address that stuff. But everything that's being brought up right now is really super important. As you know, Pisces does connect to our spirituality. It connects to the spirit realm, the ether, and all those types of things. It's bringing up, you know, our past traumas and what we really need to be facing right now, especially with Chiron in Pisces as well, that will be stationing to go direct on the 9th of December. So it really is important that we actually really address this stuff, because this is our old cycles coming through, and it is hard not to want to run away. You know, like I know that myself, I've been eating more food than usual just because it's just like, oh, I want that little moment of happiness. But yeah, it is something that's really important right now. We really need to be being present, being in reality, and addressing how we really feel. And it's not easy. We all feel uncomfortable going into old stuff that we thought that we healed and, you know, moved forward from years ago or a few months ago, or whatever it is. All this stuff is coming up right now to kind of really show us, hey, is this what you want? Because you're still vibrating at this frequency. So we really need to be, you know, feeling what's coming up. And like I said last video, you don't want to get into things while Mars is in Pisces, that once Mars is out and in Aries, you don't want to be looking back thinking, what the hell was I thinking? How did I end up with that person? Why did I go down this road? Why didn't I focus on moving forward and being, you know, who I need to be right now, and, you know, being, you know, what we need as a collective, and, you know, my passions and desires and what I truly want from my heart space, not from a void or, you know, just a quick fix, which I feel like Mars in Pisces can just be, I just need that quick fix for right now. I just need to, you know, live in a fantasy land just for right now because I'm not, you know, coping with what's coming up. So it's really important that we do try our best to come back to reality and, you know, check in and especially ask yourself, how are you feeling? What's going on? When we skip out on ourselves, other people skip out on us because what we do internally goes out to everybody else. So if I'm sitting there and I'm not being there for myself, and if I'm upset and I'm skipping out on myself, going to social media, hanging out with friends and not being present for me, I'm going to attract people that do the same thing to me. So it's really important that we really check how we're treating ourselves right now and how we're being there for ourselves. So, you know, it's okay to go into a fantasy land sometimes. It's okay to wear rose-colored glasses and have some fun, because even I feel like going out and having some fun with all this activity in Sagittarius. But it is important to check in and go back into reality and let go of what we need to let go of at this time. Okay, so December the 6th, Mercury stations to go direct in Scorpio, and it will be making aspects out to Chiron that will also be stationing to go direct on the 9th of December. So it's a very highly psychic time. We're highly connected to each other. We're highly intuitive, and we really need to be respecting our intuition and feelings that come through right now. If you're feeling some tension with somebody, if you're feeling that things aren't working for you, if you're feeling like you're connected to somebody in the spirit realm, or someone's trying to make communication with you, or someone that you no longer speak to, you are actually feeling that from them. So it's a very psychic time. So pay attention to what comes up. If you're having premonitions or anything like that, really do pay attention to them and write them down. It might be something that you look back on, you know, in a few months time, or a couple of years time, or, you know, a week down the track. You don't know, but it is a very, very psychic time. So with this Mercury retrograde, it's been quite interesting. I myself have been in like a, what would you say, a love-hate dynamic. Yeah, I had many realizations, and I've met so many other people and so many clients that have had many realizations of how they process information, you know, how they handle situations, and especially they can see the patterning of how, you know, they've been programmed to receive information, or how they've handled situations, you know, from a generational perspective. And that has been absolutely amazing. So being able to reflect for yourself on, you know, your processes on situations. Are you working from, you know, an old wounding, so you handle things a certain way? Have you seen the way you get emotional, or seen the way that you interact with people when things aren't okay? So yes, there's been a lot going on with this Mercury retrograde, because it is digging up the truth. It is digging up how we really process situations and our communications and what we learn and what we understand. So it's been a bit of an eye-opener of what's been going on. It also has put the brakes on moving forward with our desires and our optimism, and moving forward with all this Sagittariusness, and that has been a bit frustrating. But at the end of the day, it's all for a great reason. It's all so we move forward in the right way. So we analyze what's not working, and, you know, what really needs to, you know, be altered a little bit before we, you know, put it out into the world. Or do you know what I mean? So we just, you know, quickly, you know, dot the I's, cross the T's, you know, see what's really working for us before we move forward in that direction. And it has been absolutely wonderful if we look at it from, you know, an outside perspective and an internal one. So we have a cool aspect that's going on that's lasted quite a while now, which is the Grand Water Trine, and that is Mercury stationed to go direct at 27 degrees of Scorpio. We have the North Node in Cancer at 27 degrees, and we have Chiron that's in Pisces at 27 degrees. And that is all a healing journey. And that is all about healing our emotions and, you know, connecting to our emotions in so many ways as well. And with Cancer there, it's all about our self-nurturing and how we need to nurture ourselves. And then also the aspect in Pisces is about bringing up our old wounding and what needs to be healed. And then in Scorpio, it's about finding the truth, connecting to who we really are, connecting to what serves us. So this has been going on, but it will dissipate as Mercury starts to go direct. But it has been very healing, bringing about lots of connection to ourselves and others. And as this moves forward, we really will be seeing the, you know, the changes that this aspect has brought about. So another aspect that's still going on right now is the Grand Square, and that's also with the South Node in Capricorn in the mix as well. So that has also been, you know, creating tension. So then we bring about that change and that healing that we've, you know, all the realizations that we've had from the trine and those emotions that have come up that have triggered situations or triggered things within ourselves. So then we have to make that change. So it has been quite a mystical and, you know, evolving time right now. And, you know, I've seen so much change globally of, you know, what's being brought to the surface. And hey, it hasn't been hard. And we're dealing with generations and generations of trauma, not to mention our own soul trauma that we're healing as well. So it has been really hard, but, you know, the changes are in effect. And, you know, we are moving forward in leaps and bounds of, you know, what we've been, you know, 2 years ago, 10 years ago, 100 years ago. So yeah, these aspects do bring about so much healing and so much change. And another aspect that I want to touch on is the Venus that is now direct. So Venus is still in shadow phase and she's back in Scorpio. So it's about, again, reconnecting to what we want. Is it, you know, our truth? Is it what really makes us happy? You know, is it how we need to connect to people? And with Mars over there, with Neptune and in Pisces, you know, we're seeing Mars needing to connect on a spiritual level, on an unconditional level, loving in an unconditional way. And that is really connecting, you know, with that Venus that's now in Scorpio. So we could be having relationships or having realizations of proper connections. And, you know, like that could even be twin flame connections, soulmate connections, anything like that. Even if we're not with the person or we are with the person, you know, we are feeling and loving that person on such a deeper unconditional level. And, you know, if we are meeting people at this time, you know, it is a time to be meeting people, you know, in our unconditional sense and connecting on such a deep level as well. So if you're in your higher truth and you meet somebody who's also in their higher truth and coming from a place of love, this is a really great time to be meeting people as well, even though it is a bit difficult with all the fog in Pisces. So Mars has a bit of work to do there, but it is a fantastic time to be connecting to like in intimate connections or a loved one or anything like that on such a deeper level. So at this new moon in Sagittarius, we need to be asking ourselves the question, what is my truth? And is this what I really want? And how can I make the unconscious conscious? How can I connect the dots and bring it forward to connect with myself and others? It is such a great time to be connecting to who we really are. We also need to be asking ourselves how we're handling blocks that come up with our desires, how we're handling, you know, the breakdown in, you know, the direction that we're headed. Are we just giving up? Are we getting really down about it? Or are we taking time to reflect and see if this is the right direction? Or are we sticking to it? You know, we need to be asking ourselves, also, is this desire or is this direction really what I want? And I feel like I've been saying this for months now, but it really is coming into seriousness at this time, because Sagittarius is about the truth and moving forward in a direction. And, you know, then it goes into Capricorn, which is then building a structure. So then at this time, we really need to be understanding what is true for us, what we really need to be connecting, what we really need to have to be fulfilled, and, you know, have our passions and desires met. So it's such an important time. And realize that if you are having, you know, bouts of depression, or feeling really sad, or feeling really motivated, or feeling directionless, and even not knowing how you feel, it is quite normal at the moment. Don't be so hard on yourself. I think I say that every video too, and it's true. We are all dealing with generations and generations of trauma. We are all digging into our subconscious and realizing our patterning and healing so much and letting go of so much. We're clearing so much, and we don't even realize how much we're doing, and we're so hard on ourselves because, you know, we didn't start that project, or we failed this project, or whatever it is. Everything happens for a reason, and it's also we evolve and go in the right direction for ourselves, so we are happier. And I don't think the universe has an agenda to make life tough. Obviously, we are, you know, we all live in the law of attraction world, so, you know, whatever we're feeling on the inside, you know, we have attracted to us. So it's really important that we're going into our old stuff and healing it and vibrating at a higher level so we can attract what we actually want in our lives. So yes, that's it for me for the new moon in Sagittarius video. If this video resonated with you in some way, please subscribe to my channel, or if you think it could help someone, please share it. All in all, I hope you all have a fantastic new moon in Sagittarius and many soul journey blessings.